If you think trains will stop if they see a car on the tracks, you're right, they will. About a mile after they hit you. In 2015 alone, 230 people were killed at railroad crossings. Don't become the next fatality. Stop. Trains can't. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go, New York, go, New York, go!
All right, it's the New York Knicks podcast, episode 327, and Mark is actually on the show today.
Yes, I was out last week. I was in Florida with my family. I am back. I assume I didn't miss much. Did I miss anything, Jay?
You missed absolutely nothing. Oh wait,
Okay.
no. We fired our coach. Isn't that what happened since you were on last time?
Wait, are you saying that when I threw a penny in a wishing well, my wish came true?
I just find it funny that the one episode you missed all season, like the big news of the season happens.
Stats Guy the Third, who was on the show last week, he texted me. I'm we're going to breakfast with the kids. I'm in Florida. I see a text from him. Fisher was fired, and I'm like, wait a second. I don't know him that well. Does he think this is funny? I'm like, this better not be a joke. And I was like, you better not be fucking kidding me. And I had to look through Twitter. I was in shock.
He sent me a message too, and I did the same thing. I said, "Don't mess with me."
So I wasn't on last week. I felt the need, like all our fans felt the need to do. I felt the need to listen to hear what Jay had to say, and the other people on the show had to say about Fisher being fired and everything else.
Was it weird actually listening to this podcast? Because I know you don't listen when you're on.
I never listen when I'm on. I can't listen. I think I'd rather be waterboarded than listen to my own voice. It was actually really. I would say I would subscribe to the show. I would hit subscribe on iTunes. I am hooked on the show. I almost want to tell Jay, do you mind continuing to do the show without me, with these other people on the show, so I could just regularly listen to the show?
Would you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes?
I would leave us a 5-star review. I thought it was by far the best Knicks podcast, and this is one without me. I thought it was the best one I've ever heard. It was great. It was enjoyable. I wish the Mets had one. I wish the Jets had one like this. I'm a huge fan. I have to say also, Martin was great on the show. Stats Guy was great. Jay, you were wonderful on the show. Your voice, it's very soothing, Jay.
Well, thank you.
Can you I know this might be awkward to ask you. Would you mind recording yourself reading some bedtime stories I can play for myself at night?
You want just email me the PDF of Goodnight Moon. I'll record myself reading it. Or do you want me to read?
I'll be like, honey, I know this is going to be weird, but Jay recorded himself reading Goodnight Moon to us. That's weird. That's really weird. No, when you hear his voice, you'll be soothed too.
Or you're into political stuff. You want me to just read you like the New York Times editorial on the 2016 debates?
Actually, if you could just read me Antonin Scalia's obituary, I would actually prefer that.
That would be a little creepy going to bed at that. Okay, let's actually talk Knicks stuff.
We have a lot to talk about for the Knicks. So I wasn't on the show. I do want to rant about all this stuff. I wrote up, everyone gets to write in questions for us, and we're going to read your questions a little bit later. But I wrote a bunch of questions, and I want to ask Jay some questions. And I want Jay to answer some questions for me about what the hell's going on with this team.
Let's do this.
These are in no particular order. I wrote these questions kind of right after the Wizards game. The introduction of Derek Fisher Part 2, Kurt Rambis. Mm-hmm. He's great, wonderful, such a different team. I couldn't believe they went down by a lot, came back and lost. That was totally unexpected. Anyway, so question number one, Jay. Does any team shoot as many 22-foot jumpers as the Knicks? I swear, even when they try to shoot a three, half the time they accidentally have their foot on the line. There's so many goddamn times I've seen a guy like go back to the three-point line and still be still be a foot in.
They do take a lot. I think part of the problem though is that they don't have a lot of 3-point shooters. So I don't even.
Part of the problem is they don't know that you have to be outside the line. It's literally they even when they're trying to, they're inside the goddamn line. I guarantee if you said you gave an average length of a 2-point shot, the Knicks have the longest 2-point shots in the league. If they could hit so many 2-point shots from 20 feet, they could probably hit them for 23 feet.
I'm just gonna agree with you instead of try and look up where they rank as far as mid-range.
I know
shooters.
they don't have a lot, but here's the thing: they don't have their 3-point shooters. You got Porzingis he's decent. He's going to get better. But he has a natural stroke. Calderon has actually been a good 3-point shooter his whole career, right?
Yes, he's a good 3-point shooter. Although he decided to stop hitting shots a couple of games ago.
Also, there were so many times when Calderon passes the ball off when he should shoot because he wants to get everyone else going that it drives me fucking insane. Doesn't it drive you a little insane how he does that?
Speaking of getting other people involved, Paul sent us the Chauncey Billups article. Well, Chauncey Billups wrote an article about himself. If anybody hasn't read that, they should. It's
Players, whatever it's called, Players Club, whatever the Players magazine is.
Yes, it was a letter from his current self to his earlier self. And he was talking about how he was getting mentored by Terrell Brandon.
He went through his whole career, but yeah, there's a particular part about Terrell Brandon who, if you remember, was really good with the Timberwolves for a short period of time before getting injured. And he had a whole thing about basically well, you can keep going, Jay.
Well, the whole thing about his mindset was, all right, by halftime, Garnett should have 9 points and Zerbiak should have 7. And if they don't have those numbers by halftime, I'm not doing my job.
I think that the point totals were even higher. But the whole point was basically, if the guys on my team aren't scoring, I'm not doing my job because I'm the point guard. I'm supposed to set them up for shots.
Right. And I was thinking it would be grand if we had a point guard that thought and did that.
I was going to pay tuition to Terrell Brandon U for any Knicks point guards that want to go to this.
Yes.
That part was really, really good and made me kind of upset that we have what we have. Calderon tries to pass, but to the extent, like, sometimes he'll pass when, like, it's like 3 seconds remaining on the shot clock, and he'll be like, gotta still pass the ball. Can't look for my own offense.
Yeah. Why would we want the guy with the highest 3-point shooting percentage on the team to shoot a 3?
Yeah.
Bruner writes that one player that does try to shoot from 3 is D-Will, and he's not good.
Actually, there was a good. So I heard they did before the All-Star game. They did a bunch of interviews with players on the radio. I was just driving. I heard an interview with Chris Paul, and Paul was making the point that Doc Rivers, the other coaches, make a huge point to him is you've got to look for your own offense. If you don't look for your offense, then you're not going to be able to create shots for everyone else. Everyone doesn't have to watch and worry about your offense. Then you're going to have a hard time creating offense for everyone else. Mm-hmm. So they keep telling him, like, you got to drive to the lane. You got to look for your shots, and that'll get everything going for everyone else. Again, another lesson I'd like the Knicks guards to realize that if they can create their own offense, then everyone will have to worry about them, and they'll create more offense for everyone else.
Agreed.
So basically, we just want someone who has any clue about how to play point guard on the team. Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2. This is gonna go by real fast. Have you ever seen a player get faked out as badly on a regular basis as Sasha?
Oh God.
His defense is un-goddamn believable. You'll see so many times I saw it in the Wizard game a bunch of times. The guy, whatever it be, John Wall, whoever else he's covering, will kind of half-heartedly fake one way. Sasha will throw his entire body, like he'll jump 5 feet over, and then the guy will run to the space that Sasha formerly occupied. And then Sasha will be chasing him. They do it over and over again. I've never seen he goes for every fake. Just throws himself into every fake.
It's almost like he was out of the league for 4 years.
Yeah.
And just having trouble keeping up now.
Yeah. I mean, but you see it. Like, I've never seen anyone else in the league just throw themselves into every, like, fake the guy does.
I think he goes for steals way too often.
That too.
He's a gambler.
His defense, all it means when he's guarding the opposing team's guard, all it means is he's running after the guys. The guy's going to the basket. He's never in front. I've never seen him in front of anyone.
No, it's almost like one of those like little league games where if somebody passes the ball and like everyone converges on the ball. I feel like that's kind of the way he just plays defense. You going for a walk?
No. I keep getting texts on my phone from someone else right now, unrelated to this, and it's driving me insane. So I just had to turn my phone off.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to ignore like the how you silence it. I couldn't silence whatever. Goddamn. Whatever. Right? It was driving me fucking.
We know
insane.
how you are at multitasking. So
I can't multitask. I can't even one task, much less multitask.
Phone
Okay.
goes off and he just
3.
gets up and leaves the show.
Why not give Tony Roten a 10-day contract? Would it kill us to have another guard that could play goddamn defense and perhaps penetrates?
I am all for trying out different guards.
Even if Tony Roten is another Langston Galloway, I'd like to have 2 Langston Galloways in the shit we have.
Yeah. I mean, basically, anytime we sign a guard, that means Sasha's getting less minutes. So I am all for that.
Sasha is awful. Calderon can't play defense. Just put anyone out there. Anyone that's known for their defense. Let's just have 2 guys who aren't that great at point guard but can play defense out there. That would be fantastic even.
Or Sasha's not even good on offense, so something. Like I know a lot of people are asking about Jimmer. He's at least good on offense.
Yeah, that's true. At least he can do that. Like, it's just amazing. Like, you'll have Calderon will be in a game for like 25 minutes, score 3 points. It'll be freaking insane.
Yeah. Okay, number 4.
My phone, I don't know why. How do I turn my goddamn phone off?
You hold the power button.
Slide the power off. Okay,
That way, like,
stay off.
Every phone works.
I'm new to the iPhone. It's driving me insane. It kept going off.
This is Mark's first smartphone, folks.
I'm not smart.
True story.
Number 4. What differences do you expect to see from Rambis? Will he draw plays? More emphasis on moving the ball through Porzingis? What do you expect?
I expect Rambis to be taller than Fisher, whiter. I expect his beard to be slightly shorter. I don't think anything's changing.
I think there'll be one major change. If you're playing the Knicks, now you will be assured that their coach won't be trying to do your girlfriend.
Bingo. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Derek Fisher was trying to mac on Tim Hardaway Jr.'s girlfriend. Had you heard this?
Yeah.
What the?
I just heard about it and I thought it was a joke.
I don't think this is a joke. I think it was part performance and part like Phil Jackson being like, "Are you kidding me?"
How he didn't get punched enough by Barnes?
I bet he was like hitting on like Jerry Buss, whatever. Yeah, Phil's girlfriend,
Jeannie Buss,
whatever the hell. Yeah, she's post-op. It's Jerry now. I don't know. Like, how much of a moron is Derek Fisher?
All the moron.
You can't like go outside the world of basketball players' significant others.
That's like the number one taboo in the NBA. If this story is true, he may have cost himself a future job.
I mean, do you think Tim Hardaway was just traded because of that? Like Phil was like, "I'm going to keep him." Oh, great! You slept with his girl. Forget it. We'll trade him. Let's see how dumb the Hawks are.
Maybe it was because he was terrible, and the Hawks actually gave us a pick for him.
That's true.
I can't believe we got a first rounder.
No, I wish Jerry and Grant was better, so I could feel better about the trade.
Well, maybe we could trade Jerry and Grant for Teague now.
Why not?
I mean, they gave us a first rounder.
Derek Fisher, do you mind sleeping with Jerry and Grant's girlfriend now? Yeah, I don't know what I expect to see different. I supposedly Rambis was working a lot with Porzingis throughout the year and helping him get better. Yeah. So maybe we'll see more through going through Porzingis and more him. He did say that he wanted to see Porzingis doing more of his scoring closer to the basket, which seems like for a 7'3" guy, it's important.
Yeah, sure.
I love the when Porzingis goes off the glass. I love that.
He has some moves. He needs to get down that Ewing like 15-foot shot.
Yeah, he can do so. There's so much he can like. You see all the potential. You know this is the rawest. This is a raw product still, and you know once he works on this, things could be good. Things could actually be good here.
Yeah, I mean it's at least
okay. 5.
Our
why not
player?
Why not send Grant down to the D League so he can get some real playing time? or just increase his playing time with New York and see if it starts adapting to getting better. Because what the hell, we're getting garbage from Calderon and Sasha, and we're not like making the playoffs anyway. Why not just like go for it with this guy?
Yeah, no, I think the problem is that they are in win now mode, which for me, I feel like you can't get much worse than what Sasha's doing anyway.
Isn't like having Sasha on your team mean you're not in win now mode?
Right. I mean, if they're not going to give him consistent minutes, yeah, they should put him in the D League, let him play like 25, 30 minutes a game in the D League.
I just think either if you're
for
really
like 2
uncomfortable with him
weeks.
playing, if you're really uncomfortable with him playing in the NBA, let him get some run in the D League and get some confidence up.
Because I tell you, playing 7 minutes and then getting pulled as soon as you make a mistake is not doing him any good.
Well, it's weird. It would have been nice if Grant had someone on the coaching staff who was a former point guard in the league for like 20 years who could have helped him. It was anyone on the league.
No, nothing.
They said one of the things they said was that Fisher didn't utilize his assistants very well. So now he's going to utilize his assistants very well. They'll take over the team.
So he didn't do X's and O's really well. His rotations were bad. He didn't utilize his assistants very well. He didn't really know plays, and the team didn't seem very motivated. Other than that, though, he was doing a spot-up job.
Yes.
Oh, and he tried to bang all their girlfriends.
In crunch time, he knew where to put his penis.
Crunch time.
I heard they also, now that he's not have a job, they spotted him with Barnes' wife again, right?
Did they?
Yeah, did you hear? Yeah, they were, I think, on Barnes' ex-wife's
I'm going to have to put
Instagram or
Fisher
something
on
like
Google Alert because this guy is just blowing up every other day now.
Yeah, now that he's not busy with work, he's busy with what's important to him. I thought he was why do we have to, this was in my questions, but why do we have to have a coach that's himself a project? Develop Porzingis. I think you made this point in the last podcast. Develop Porzingis. Don't develop a coach.
I mean, Anthony Weiner's like, oh my God, Fisher has no self-control.
Can we hire Anthony Weiner? He was, at least he had some fire in him. Okay, 6. Luke Walton. So why do we think Luke Walton will be a good coach? And also, why, even if he would be a good coach, why would he not go to the Lakers over the Knicks?
I think he'd be a good coach because he's been he's seen it all. Like he's seen like what a winning.
Oh, come on! I could have coached the Warriors to almost the exact same record. I'd be like, "Hey guys, shoot a lot of threes. I'm done here."
Well, I mean, he
Sit
knows
down.
what actual plays look like. It seemed like he was really good at his rotations.
Yeah, of course you're really good at rotations. My roster's 10 deep. I'm going to always look good at rotations. I know he's been on a team. He's had very minimal coaching experience, and it happens to be with a roster that's as stacked as a roster has been in a decade.
Some guys pick up coaching quicker than others.
I don't know, but the thing is,
Like
I don't
Jason
know.
Kidd seemed to pick it up pretty quick.
Luke Walton, how would you coach if you have a terrible roster? How would you not a terrible roster, but how would you coach with this roster? Could you really do a better job? Could you do a better job when you have to say, "Oh, do I want to put Kyle O'Quinn or Kevin Seraphin or just shoot myself?" I don't. Maybe we should go with a coach that has some experience.
Is your
who's learned from his Tibbs is the guy I want. Goddamn Tibbs.
I was waiting for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I obviously want Tibbs. It seems insane to me not to hire Tibbs. I don't give a crap about the triangle. Try a system that's been used successfully in the last decade. Tibbs, great defense. Why does Luke Walton make any sense though?
So this is going to make you a little annoyed. Bruno just posted an article that mentioned that Tibbs has actually coached the triangle using the Bulls' offense. The Bulls actually used a lot of triangle stuff.
So hire him. There you go. Could you please forward that to Phil Jackson? I don't understand when Phil's like, we could hire, like any coach in the world is totally fine. I'm going to look far and wide for people that I've coached myself and have a personal relationship already with. I'm going to look. You remember that thing? What was it? Was it T-Mobile had a Fave 5 like phone number thing? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Is it your Fave 5? Like Like Phil Jackson's like, I'm gonna look from like 1 to 10, 1 to 5 in my speed dials, and that's where I'll choose a coach from.
Felipe just posted a picture of Fisher on vacation, and Gloria's in the pic. Is Gloria Barnes or Hardaway's girl?
It's Barnes.
Barnes. Okay, well, yeah. So there's a picture of them on vacation.
Hey, baby, I'm gonna show you my triangle, or actually, I'm gonna look at your triangle. Sorry. Why does Phil have to choose a guy that he's already worked with already? I mean, I guess it's Phil, and that's what he has to do. It just seems like
he's just being a stubborn old man at this point.
He's never had a guy who's worked for him that's had success in the NBA. Like all we have is Luke Walton, who hasn't never really he played for him briefly, and has the greatest roster ever. So I mean, why wouldn't he win games? We have Brian Shaw, who was a disaster in Denver, but hopefully he's learned something. We have Kurt Rambis, who we're seeing right now, and Jim Clemens. Who else?
I don't really know.
Would you rather Brian Shaw, Luke Walton, Jim Clemens, or Kobe?
Wasn't Tibbs an assistant coach during the Bulls run?
Was he?
Stats guy.
Do we have a stats guy on the show now?
No, we don't.
We could pull up his Wikipedia and look instead of.
Okay, go to your next question. I'll pull it up.
Okay. Report. Hang on. Wait. Kings working with Ben McLemore on trade. Timberwolves interested in Thibodeau. If Tibbs goes to the Timberwolves, I'm going to shoot someone. Goddamn bullshit. Okay. Well, yeah, my question to you: would you rather have Shaw, Clemens, Luke Walton, or Kobe coach your team?
Luke Walton.
I don't know. I'm going to go to a first timer basically, where they're all basically first time. I might want Kobe. At least he would tear into every player and just reduce their self-esteem until they actually start playing better.
I mean, at least Luke Walton actually. I mean, it was only 40 games, but he did coach.
Okay. Number 8, or set, whatever. Kurt Rambis is. Is there any defense to Kurt Rambis's? Are we being too hard on Kurt Rambis for his record with Minnesota?
Do you know Thibodeau is actually a New York Knicks assistant coach?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
Oh.
Okay. How did I not know that?
Did you know that Tibbs' first name is Tom?
Did you know that Jeff Van Gundy used to be a Knicks coach?
There's a picture of he was under. There's a picture on the Wikipedia page of Tibbs with Jeff Van Gundy. That's why it makes perfect sense for him to come back. Also, he was assistant at Harvard. I'm not looking at his. He was assistant at Harvard and the Timberwolves for a couple of years, then San Antonio, then the Sixers, which hopefully didn't get too stupid during that. Then the Knicks for 8 years. Then the Rocket. You did not know he was with the Knicks?
No, I didn't.
Wow. Assistant with Houston, assistant with the Celtics, and assistant with the Celtics when they won the title also, and then with the Bulls. He's been great with the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bulls were insane to fire him. And we won't have to worry about him playing Carmelo to death. Carmelo won't be here. We're trading him this week.
All right, let's keep going.
Okay. So is Kurt Rambis? Are we giving him too much crap for Minnesota? He did have Khan, who was the worst GM in the history of time.
He did a poor job. I wouldn't say I'm mad that he's our coach because of that, but he did do a bad job in Minnesota.
Don't most coaches get better with time? Even use an example from football, Bill Belichick did a shitty job with Cleveland Browns, got fired, and then came to New England, got Tom Brady, and became the best coach ever.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he probably learned stuff since then.
Yeah.
But I'm
okay.
Also okay, whatever.
9, I think I asked about, do we have to keep developing coaches like their projects? And 10, why do we have to be down by 10 every game?
That I cannot answer. Probably because we have a guard rotation that can't guard anybody.
Yeah, it kind of makes it hard. It kind of makes it hard to coach when you're like, okay, guard, we have no one. God, forget it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Emails?
Yeah, why not? Do you want to talk about the Wizards game?
Sure, let's talk about the Wizards game.
The one game that happened. Knicks lost to the Wizards but they came close to winning, so it's a moral victory, right? This game had the craziest thing to me with this game had was towards the end of the game. Was it Galloway was driving to the basket? Whoever he knocked into, like they did a review. They used the they did an instant replay review to figure out if the guy that he ran into was in the paint or not, or in the
restricted zone.
Restricted zone.
Yeah.
How can you review for this? How slow do they want the games to be that you can review for every goddamn thing?
So they can review for that, but the play before when it was a clean steal and they called a foul was unreviewable.
Yeah, you could still watch the footage and like make a decision.
So
I am tired of instant replay. They should eliminate instant replay, eliminate timeout, just play the goddamn game. And I say eliminate timeout because as a Knicks fan, I've never seen a Knicks coach actually use them properly.
Actually, Rambis had 2 in the final minute, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never heard of a recent Knicks coach actually managing timeouts and having a few to use in a close game.
That was nice. So the Knicks basically in this game, they hear their coach got fired, and that was a message to them that they should hang their heads and get their butt kicked in the first quarter. Most teams get fired up when their coach gets fired. The Knicks were like, shucks.
Let's go down by 14.
Let's go down by 14 to start the game off. Every game, it's unbelievable.
Well, that's what happens when you let John Wall hit like every single shot.
Yeah. This is also a game that Porzingis had 12 points in the third quarter, looked amazing, and then Rambis
sat the first 8 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Sat the first 8 minutes of the fourth quarter because Rambis apparently didn't see the third quarter.
I like your tweet where you're like, does Rambis know what Porzingis did in the third quarter?
Our bench is terrible these days. We need I guess Lance Thomas did play, but he didn't play very well.
No, the only ones who played really well were Galloway, Porzingis, and Melo. And yeah, that was pretty much it.
I don't know, like why not like one of our strengths is having Porzingis and Lopez out there together as like our twin towers to like at least that like helps at least having them both out there at the same time helps kind of counteract the fact that we can't guard anyone because you go to the paint at least we have guys that can really block shots.
Right.
But instead you take them you leave one of them on the floor and just say screw it, we're just not going to guard anyone anywhere.
And I don't know, it's an incomplete roster at this point.
It is a very, very incomplete roster. We had a chance to win the game. Who missed the last shot?
Galloway.
I was hoping Galloway would actually take the shot.
It was an up and down. I mean, he hit a huge 3 right before that. He had a turnover, and then he hit a huge 3, and then he had a wide open shot to tie the game, and he missed it.
John Wall had 300 assists.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, there's not that much more to add to this game.
No, I don't want to talk about this game anymore. Email.
You know who's on their bench, by the way, who didn't play, who I remember thinking was really good in San Antonio? DeJuan Blair. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember back in the day I wanted the Knicks to get him.
He can't even crack that rotation with like half their team injured, huh?
Yeah, I remember seeing him in college. I don't go to many college basketball. I was my stepbrother went to Georgetown. I went to Georgetown. They were playing, I guess DeJuan Blair was on maybe Pittsburgh. I forget what college he went to. And they were playing Georgetown, and the dude looked freaking awesome. And that was when the Hoyas had the guy from Indiana who was out on the Lakers.
Hibbert,
yeah. That was when Hibbert was playing college, and Hibbert was supposed to be the shit, and Blair looked much better than him.
Hibbert's back to having 0-point games again.
Oh, the Roy Hibbert experience.
So, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is our email.
Oh, we got to do our grades. Let's do the emails, and then we do our grades.
We were talking about last week how polarizing Woodson and Fisher was on the podcast.
Yeah.
It seemed we got way more emails and messages saying they liked them, but we did get a few saying they didn't, which I don't understand because I think it was amazing.
Oh, yeah. I thought they were. Not everyone's going to like that, so whatever.
Anthony writes, I never laughed so hard in my life listening to a podcast. Woodson was money again, and again. So Anthony is on board.
Thank you, Anthony.
Mr. C writes, Hey guys, what do you think about the plan to put ads on jerseys? I think it's a good idea only if they get rid of some of the timeouts at the same time. Can you think of any appropriate brands to put on Knicks jerseys other than Brink Podcast? So, yeah, I agree. I'm all for the ads on jerseys if they take out some of the TV timeouts.
They're never going to do that, though.
I know.
It's an additional revenue source. It's not in place of it.
Well, then I'm against it. Why? Yeah. Oh, good. You get more money? No. I'm
Yeah,
against
that's
it
what
if it's just them getting more money. I have to look at ugly jerseys, and they just get more money, and the game is still has like all these stupid TV timeouts. I'm against that.
Okay, first of all, most of the jerseys out there are really ugly to begin with. They're not going to get any uglier.
Oh, they'll get uglier.
I would rather see the advertisements on there.
Okay, so anyway,
let's just say they're gonna replace some of the timeouts. So that's the reason for it.
all for that.
Yeah. So what brands we put on here?
For Knicks, Charmin.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Viagra would be funny just on there.
That would be funny. World Star Hip Hop.
Star Hip Hop.
Yeah, Porzingis apparently goes to that like every morning.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't know if he should be looking at like Walmart fist fights and shit like every morning. I don't think that's like, hey, this is what Americans do. They go to Walmart and fist fight over.
What is Star Hip Hop?
World Star? You've never heard of World Star Hip Hop?
You didn't know Tibbs was the coach of the Knicks. So what? Okay, what is World Star Hip Hop?
I mean, it posts like a little of everything, music videos and stuff. But if you ever want to see like street fights or, any kind of fight, it's on that website. Like a 3 a.m. New York City subway fist fight will show up on World Star Hip Hop like an hour after it happens.
Oh, okay.
It's funny because during the fights, there's always somebody in the background going, World Star.
Okay, what's a product
that's good. We the Southwest said, how about Mello's brand on jerseys?
That would be good.
I like that.
Let's see.
They could put JD in the straight shot ads on the jerseys.
We could do right guard because the Knicks have to guard something. First time.
Right guard, and guard is in quotes.
Yeah. Let's see.
I think a tampon ad would be really funny.
Anything involving disappointment would be really good. They always say like we put our product against a leading brand of detergent. Ours should be leading brand of detergent because we always lose.
Latvian travel agencies.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Yeah. We're really like jumping with ideas here. If you think of an idea, we can just say it throughout the show.
Lorenzo writes, I can't believe Mr. Robot's our new head coach.
A little bit.
Angel writes, would you rehire Derek Fisher to be our starting point guard? Do you think he would be an improvement over Calderon?
Sure. Why not? We're already paying Derek Fisher. Look, give him the job.
I don't think he'd be an improvement over Calderon, but I think he'd be an improvement over Sasha.
I don't think he'd be that much worse than Calderon, but yeah, he'd be definitely an improvement over Sasha. Like, I don't get it. We're already paying him. Why can't we make him coach? Make him play.
Yeah. Josh writes, I thought Woody and Fisher were hilarious. Don't stop doing those shows. Considering Porzingis and Melo's timetables for winning don't correspond, a trade shouldn't be discounted. What do you think of this trade? Celtics get Griffin. Clippers get Melo and one of Boston's other picks they've stockpiled. Knicks get the Brooklyn pick plus another, Lee and Sullinger's expiring contracts.
Sure. I like it. You don't like getting Blake, though, right?
Celtics get Blake in this situation.
Oh, wait. Who do we get?
We get David Lee, Jared Sullinger, both expiring, and this year's Brooklyn pick, which is going to be a top 5.
Oh, I would do that. I would rather get if somehow we can get Avery Bradley.
Avery Bradley would be Bradley and a pick. I think is fair.
Yeah, I would definitely do that. I know they would. So Frank Asola, it just said we need to have a made up story this week. So
he just pulled this out of his ass.
Oh my God, there's nothing in the story. He's like, the Celtics and Cleveland Cavaliers have had preliminary talks, and by that I mean their GMs acknowledge each other at the All-Star pregame festivities, and they're talking about trading Kevin Love. No, they never actually mentioned that, and also Knicks were never even contacted about any of this, but they would trade Melo and get a pick. Like the Knicks were never even talked. Like, even Isola couldn't even say the Knicks have been contacted.
That story blew up, and he just pulled it out of his ass.
Oh my God! What are you know what the best part of this whole week was? Finding out my sources and Frank Isola's sources are just as legitimate.
Exactly.
I mean, and Melo has to answer all these questions. Like, the best part is Melo's like, oh, apparently Knicks fans want me to leave. Because every article's like, that's a great idea. What else can we get?
Right.
I think it's a good idea, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, it's
that seems like the best way to do it is getting the Celtics involved and getting like either the Clippers or either the Cavaliers. Would you like to see Melo play? Like, if the trade was executed, would you root for Melo with the Cavaliers?
No. I hate the Cavs.
But wouldn't you like? Do you like Melo enough to want to see him succeed, even when he leaves the Knicks?
My hatred for JR overrides my likeness of Melo.
I mean, it would be nice
Melo
to finally see
team.
him in like a correct position where he's not the number one guy, but he's with a solid team where he's going to get. He seems like a much better 2 than a 1.
I would root for Melo if, I don't know, he went to Oklahoma City or something. I would not root for Melo on Cleveland.
On Clippers?
Clippers are a really hateable team too.
On the radio, they were saying what they say. If Melo vetoes this trade, it means he'd rather be the best player on a bad team than have a shot at winning a title as a third best player on another team. And I was like, well, maybe it means if he vetoes this trade that he wants to be a Knick.
Right.
That's not a legitimate thing to say. Like, hey, I understand that I have a better shot of winning a title there, but I'd rather be a Knick.
There's no option where he actually just likes his team.
There's no option where he's just a loyal player. I mean, he said all the right things. He said that he'd rather like win here. Winning here is the most important thing. But I mean, I would have to, like, if I was Melo, I would do the deal in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Have a chance to go to Cleveland and have a shot of actually winning a title when your career is like, it's not exactly like you have only a couple more years left, and you put the Knicks in a much better position.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You watch the All-Star game?
Oh, we have one more email. Kevin just sent the.
You couldn't answer my question prior to reading the email.
Well, I figured that would be a long thing. I don't want to get the emails done with.
Fine.
Kevin just sent the Thibodeau article saying Dibbs ran the triangle offense for 2 years during his Bulls stint. So,
well, exactly. He has no experience with the triangle. He's barely an NBA coach. We need a guy without experience.
And okay, so All-Star, I watched the terrible celebrity game the night before on Friday.
Of course you did. Your favorite player was playing.
I had to Google 3/4 of the quote-unquote celebrities.
Just talk about Drake, how much you love him.
I'm like, oh, it's the guy from a band. Great.
I didn't watch the game, so I don't know who even played. What guys played in that game?
It was some dude from Arcade Fire, the band.
I like Arcade Fire.
One of the brothers from the Property Brothers on HGTV.
That's reaching.
I mean, we're talking like A-list celebrities here. The owner of the Bucks.
Okay. The owner of the Bucks?
Yeah.
Wow.
Obviously Kevin Hart, because he has to be in every game.
Yeah.
A few female NBA players, a couple of washed-up players like Tracy McGrady. And,
is it just like, hey, for the NBA celebrity game, we'll take all the people that didn't get into Dancing with the Stars?
Right. There was only one funny part where Anthony Anderson stole the ball and went for a layup, only he was on the bench. He just like ran off the bench and intercepted a pass, and like the refs didn't notice and didn't call it. So that was kind of funny.
What how did your boy do? Didn't Drake play?
He was the coach. So
Oh,
they
he
kept-
didn't play?
No, so every time out, they kept interviewing him. I was getting so mad.
Oh, you love Drake.
Everything was about Drake this weekend. Fuck Toronto. Seriously. You guys and your obsession with Drake.
Can we replace your theme song with Drake?
No, we could replace nothing with Drake.
What
What is it with
There's
this
so much
guy?
obsessed over Drake. I'm like loving this.
Oh, he's so terrible. They had like a 5-minute Drake commercial. I'm like, was this made just to piss me off?
I'm thinking about downloading some Drake music just to piss you off and get like really into it.
Jesus. Somebody made a Drake like mashup with Porzingis, and that really pissed me off.
So the All-Star game, do you think they should start giving out points for playing defense?
I didn't watch the All-Star game.
One of the teams got 190 points.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was like 192 to 176. It's just no one even. I turned it on for a few minutes. No one even pretends to play defense.
That's just ridiculous.
They've got to change the All-Star game.
It's who cares? It's just a stupid game.
I know, but it's so unwatchable and it's just so pointless. Just
I'm looking now. The West scored over 50 in 3 of the 4 quarters.
I still think a better idea. I feel like would be just have like whoever made the finals on the East play the West All-Stars and vice versa. So like have the Golden State Warriors play the East All-Stars in a game.
That'd be funny.
That'd be pretty cool. And then you have the Cavs, I guess, play the West All-Stars.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would just make it just do something else to mix it up, make it interesting to watch. Whatever. So we're going to do, we'll make this fast.
The West hit 31 threes.
Oh, God. And Kobe Bryant did not get the MVP award, even though everyone was declaring that he should get it just for showing up.
Oh, Jesus. I can't believe he even made that.
Anytime they talk about a player's accomplishments, they should never put All-Star Game MVP as an accomplishment.
They shouldn't put all. That's the thing. Like, if you're considering if they should make the Hall of Fame and you're taking All-Star appearances into consideration, don't make it a popularity contest. Because now Kobe, he made like a gazillion All-Star games. He shouldn't have made it this year, and he probably shouldn't have made one of the other years either.
Yeah, but there's enough years he should have made it.
Yes, but I'm saying it like Yao Ming, like he shouldn't have made it like 3 out of the 5 times he made it.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not a huge. I mean, people they do cite All-Star games as like one of the statistics for like going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
but I feel like it's never really a borderline case where that's what puts them over the top.
It's going to be at some point, and it's going to be like a player with like a wacky haircut that people want to see in the All-Star game and
stupid hair. You're going to be an All-Star. Okay, so now we're going to do. Slam Dunk Contest. That was actually pretty good. Did you watch any of that?
I watched all the Saturday stuff. That was the best Slam Dunk Contest I think there's ever been. Aaron Gordon got absolutely robbed.
That dunk he did over the mascot was insane.
Where he like sat sideways like 15 feet in the air. That was
I can't even like. I'm like, were there wires? How the hell did he sit like sideways over the guy?
And then Levine's like, I'm just going to do the same dunk from the free throw line every single time and get a 50 every time.
Levine's really great. Levine's great also. He's a great dunker, and he was pretty awesome also. I just feel like with that kind of contest, whoever has the best dunk of the night just should win the contest.
Yeah.
Get the rounds. Like,
Levine had no creativity. Like Aaron Gordon had like 3 jaw-dropping dunks, and Levine just kept saying, I'm just going to do the same one because it gets me a 50.
Yeah, it's fine. That was just an absurd dunk. That's the only thing they have to change about the contest. If you have best dunk of the night, just wins flat out. Forget
Gordon,
rounds.
I think, had like the top 3 dunks of the night.
Yeah, that one was just absurd. That was one of the best dunks I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do. It's kind of mid-season, past mid-season, whatever. We're gonna do our mid-season grades of the players because we are late on doing this, and I'm gonna call instead of calling it mid-season grades, I'm gonna call it why we hate this player, and we'll give him a grade.
Okay.
Okay. Aaron Aflalo. What grade and why do you hate him?
Gonna give him. This one's tough because he started off the season really good, but then now he's been terrible for like 3 weeks. So I'll give him a.
You better not give him a high grade. Not to influence you, but you better not give him a goddamn high grade.
I'm gonna give him a
You better not give him a high grade, Jay.
B minus, and I hate him because he's inconsistent and can't cover people.
He can't cover anyone anymore. He is horrible. He is one of the new statistics of defense. He's one of the worst defenders in the Knicks. Didn't he come into the league being known for his defense? That was the better part of his game.
He hasn't been known for that in about 3 years.
I know, but he's just awful. I feel like he's not much better than JR. So I'm giving him a C+.
Okay.
He was actually playing well at times. There is one thing where if he plays well, the Knicks seem to win, which I guess was true of JR as well.
Yeah.
He's not much better than JR.
Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. Lou Admonson. I'm going alphabetically.
I'm giving him a C, and I hate him because he cut his hair.
Giving him I'm giving a D, and I hate him because he's on the Knicks roster.
I'm giving him a C just because I had absolutely no expectations, and he hasn't really done anything. So that's like a wash for me.
In my opinion, I gave him a D, not an F, but a D because I have very low expectations. But when I have seen him on the NBA court, he didn't seem like an NBA player.
I guess we should say I'm giving all my grades based on like what I think they should be doing, because obviously,
I'm putting everyone on the LeBron James scale.
Right.
Lou Admonson, you're not close to LeBron James. You suck.
Yeah.
Okay. Carmelo,
I'm going to give a B. I think he's been inconsistent, and he's battling injuries again.
I'm going to go B+. He has been passing the ball a lot more, which I like. He's been playing better defense, which I like. He's been working hard to rebound. I hate him because I don't remember him shooting efficiently many times this season. Every night it's like 12 for 40, 7 for 25, but he got his point. He's getting to the line somewhat. Injuries are starting to mount, or he's starting to. Why do you have to play in the goddamn All-Star game? You're injured. You have to play in the All-Star game?
Well, I mean, in his defense, he only played 23 minutes. Never mind.
Why not? I know the All-Star game is not the most taxing game of games, but if you're too injured, if you can blame, he's blaming his poor shooting on his knee injury, and yet he's still playing.
Right, like he missed 5 out of the last 10 games.
He said, I'm not. My shot's not with me because my knee is still hurting, and yet he's still playing in the All-Star game.
Well, that's good for his brand.
Yeah,
I mean, shooting more efficiently than LeBron in the All-Star game is good for his brand.
I might downgrade this to a B just because he played in the All-Star game. I'm so annoyed about him playing in the All-Star game because he needed the goddamn rest.
He shot above 500 though.
Oh yeah, well, why not do it in the All-Star game? Melo's like, this is how it's supposed to be. No one's playing defense on me. This is fantastic. 23 minutes? Why do you have to play 23 minutes? I do like that he's passing more. Whatever. Jose Calderon. This is last year he barely played for the Knicks. Did he actually play at all for the Knicks last year?
He played a little bit, and then he got injured for like 40 games, and then he played a little bit again.
Okay. What do you give him?
I'm going to give him a D.
D+. I hate him for being on the Knicks. I hate him for not playing defense.
He's got a bad contract. He doesn't play defense, and he's always injured.
And he's like not even our worst guard.
Right.
Anthony Early?
I'm going to say this one's hard to grade.
Because he got shot?
Yeah. B for bullets.
I hate you, Anthony Early, for getting shot before you get more playing time. I don't know. Galloway.
I mean, I feel like in Summer League, he looked like he was taking real strides.
I don't know. Then Derek Fisher was like, your girlfriend's not hot enough for you to bang. You're not playing. I don't know. It's incomplete.
He didn't play enough to even grade.
Yeah. Galloway,
I'll give a C+.
I'm a B. Though he's not really making any strides to get better. He's good in crunch time.
I don't know. There'll be a couple games where he looks really, really good, and then he'll go like a week or two looking terrible. But he shows enough flashes where I get excited that he might actually turn into a good backup.
Yeah. his 3-point shooting is a little better this year. You know, the weird thing about it though is we give him so much shit. You're like, Galloway, you can't run an offense. You're not. I mean, like, listen, Galloway, you were an undrafted free agent, and in your second year of play, why can't you run an offense?
Right.
I mean, where he's coming from, I mean, he's a guy that should be developing slowly. So
Yeah.
not a lot of undrafted guys end up playing so well. You know what I forgot about when I was reading that Chauncey Billups article? I forgot that Ben Wallace was undrafted.
Right.
I was like, can the Knicks find like an undersized 6'9" center who's going to be the best defensive player in the league? It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, you need to find guys who are like everyone else is going to overlook for those reasons. Like, I was thinking the same thing when reading Billups. Billups bounced around. I forgot how many teams Billups had played with before he ended up on the Detroit.
Yeah, it was on 5 teams in 5 years.
You should look for guys who are just gotten who are high picks, who are just kind of. I mean, it makes sense to look for guys who are high picks and kind of bounced around a little bit.
Well, or maybe like because they were in bad situations. Like, I feel like Billups always got traded to a team that had a starting point guard already.
Right. I mean, that's the same with Stupid Harry. He was in bad situations, so you would think like, not that he's like all that amazing yet, but okay. So what do we give for Galloway? I give him a B. You give him a
C+.
C+. Yeah. Jerry and Grant, whatever the hell.
And give him a D+. He's been bad most of the season.
He's pretty bad.
I was super hyped like the first 2 weeks, and then it seemed like he lost all confidence in week 3 and just never recovered.
Even though I want him to get a lot more playing time, C-.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hate him for not being as good as I'd hoped he'd be. Why do you hate him?
I hate him because he can't shoot.
Robin Lopez,
I'm going to give a B+. I think his defense goes overlooked because of how bad the Knicks defense in general is. Yeah. Is it his fault he doesn't play more minutes, or is that the coach's fault?
I think it's the coach's fault.
Okay, then I can't hate him because of that.
I'm going to give him an A-. He's been great this year.
Yeah, he's been really. He was number 1 in my rankings this week.
I mean, his offense also. Well, his offense. You're not talking for the All-Star week.
No, the last power rankings I put up on the New York Knicks podcast.com. He was number 1.
He's a guy who also is not known for his offense. His offense is getting a lot better lately.
Yeah. Speaking of our website, Kevin Meng wrote a really good article on why the Knicks suck. The website's thenewyorknickspodcast.com. And he's going to have another article coming up soon. So keep an eye out for that.
Yes. Okay. Robin Lopez, the only thing I hate him for is I still hate his contract, I guess. Actually, his contract's not even that bad.
I don't really hate his contract.
I hate you, Robin Lopez, for not getting more minutes that you deserve. Kyle O'Quinn.
Another guy that I was excited about the first 2 weeks of the season and then not since.
Yeah.
I'll give a C- on him, and I don't know why I hate him.
D+, and I hate you for changing your name, Quincy Acey.
He really is like the same guy.
Same as that guy. God, it's pointless to have
It's a
him.
guy with a beard that excited us for 2 weeks and then disappointed the rest of the season.
Porzingis.
Got to give an A, right? I mean,
How
I thought he was a
come
2 to 3 year project, and he won Rookie of the Month 3 months in a row.
Yeah, he looks great. I hate you, Porzingis, for not being more consistent with your outside shot, and I hate you for not learning how to set a pick. Could someone just teach him how to set a pick? He's terrible when I'm trying to set a pick. When they do a pick and roll, he's terrible at setting a pick.
He is terrible setting a pick. If I had to hate him for something, it would be his inconsistent shot.
Do you think one of the things that Phil Jackson said was that Fisher had gotten away from the principles of the triangle, or away from using the triangle more? He didn't like his use of the triangle, basically. Do you think that we're going to see even less pick and roll going forward?
If we do, I don't know.
If that's the reason for firing Derek Fisher, and I know it can't be, I'm going to shoot myself.
Yeah.
I mean, why can't the team looks just so much better running pick and roll?
Well, every team looks better running the pick and roll because it's the best play in the league.
It's just like the oldest play in basketball, and it's just there was one of the games like from last week that you guys were covering in last week's show. I just remember the Knicks looked terrible. Then they started doing a bunch of pick and rolls, and suddenly the offense looked like there was a lot more movement. There's a lot more excitement. Like it was just like everything was working. And then they came back, and then then like when the Knicks had tied the game, they stopped using pick and roll and they lost the game.
Yeah.
I feel like Porzingis would be great in the pick and roll. Carmelo's good in the pick and roll. Robin Lopez is good in the pick and roll. Why can't they use it more? It's baffling to me.
All right, who's next?
Okay, Seraphin.
D. He's been not good.
The only reason I don't want to give him a D is because he doesn't play any.
Yeah.
Dun. Yeah, D plus. I don't know. I when Seraphin's out there, I'm like put Kyle O'Quinn in. When Kyle O'Quinn's out, I'm put Seraphin in. And most of the time, I want neither of them there, like even be on the bench. By the way, it looked like Rambis chose Seraphin over O'Quinn for the first game.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I feel like of the two, I'd rather have Quinn than Seraphin.
I don't know. They go back and forth. Like Seraphin played well that game, but sometimes he puts O'Quinn in over Seraphin, and O'Quinn looks better.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. They're both pretty bad. D plus for Seraphin. Lance Thomas.
Lance Thomas, I'll give a B plus for him.
A.
Really? Even you're
he's
taking
so
the last
better.
month into consideration, right?
What do I have to take into consideration?
He's been the last month. He's been bad for a while.
Has he?
Yeah.
I think his defense he's one of the best defenders on the team.
He is.
Like he can guard. He can actually stay in front of guards. No one else in the Knicks can.
A novel concept on this team.
Yeah, and our team looks so much worse when he's not on there. Because then you're like, no one can stay in front. Like Galloway, I guess is like okay with the guards. You need we when he doesn't play, you notice the lack of defense. He's been injured a little bit. I think based on what you expected out of Lance Thomas, and what I expected out of Lance Thomas was to never play and to be a guy that we're not even sure why he's on the bench. I was angry when he first started playing for the team, and he's looked pretty good overall.
Yeah, no, he won me over.
I mean, that's why. Are you going to apologize to him again?
No. Every time I do that, he's bad for about 6
He's
straight
shooting
games.
41% from three-point land.
That's nice.
I wish everyone else was doing that.
Yeah.
And he's just shooting, and his field goal percentage is 46%. The guy's playing really well.
Yeah.
I think for what you expected out of Lance Galloway,
That's true. I should up mine to like an A minus.
But for what you expected out of Lance Thomas, how do you not give him an A?
Yeah.
Or are you comparing him to like he's not quite LeBron?
No. I was just dinging him because he's been like ice cold for 2 to 3 weeks now.
Sasha, if you give him anything over an F, I'm going to quit the show.
Why would I give him anything over an F?
F minus. Screw you, Sasha. Why are you on this damn team? Why? And he's hitting some shots. Everyone's like, oh, now Sasha's good. He is so bad on defense that he would have to score 4 points with every one of his shots.
If nobody covered me, I would hit some shots too. Doesn't mean I'm good or should be in the NBA.
Oh my God, Sasha's free. But you know what? He brings triangle leadership here. So
I don't get some of the 3-point shooting in the 3-point contest.
What do you say?
The 3-point contest. Like some of those guys were. One guy got a 13.
Who won the contest? I didn't see it.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Wow.
A guy in the Warriors can shoot threes?
It was Thompson versus Curry in the finals. Surprise.
You're kidding me, right? That's like when the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan fought. Like
I feel like I could beat a 13.
Yeah, well, you're under pressure. I mean, these guys are all professional NBA players. That they probably without pressure they can probably nail them like consistently.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Curry only hit I think he had 21 or 22 in the final round. Like, I feel like Curry's a better shooter than that.
Yeah, I think sometimes in the contest they get. I think it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid hair, McGee.
Give him a C. He hasn't been good for stretches, but he's had more good games than I thought he was going to this season.
Yeah, I would say C. I would say he's kind of average, which is better than expected. He's making you say like, oh, I totally understand why the Knicks signed him, and I think he still have some potential.
Yep.
Yeah, I like them. Okay. We want to go. You done with emails? Go to Facebook questions.
Yeah.
We're almost done.
Good.
Kevin writes, can you guys bash past management for destroying any chance of us having assets to make deadline deal, or perhaps stress all of the great deadline deals that would make us a better team, but are completely impossible because of how bad our roster is?
It's true. Well, there's all these teams that are like, hey, we got this guy. We're willing to give him away on even a halfway decent deal. We got nothing to give. Like, we could have Jeff Teague right now if we had even like a halfway decent guy on the bench.
If you've noticed the last, since we started doing the show, if not much longer, every year the roster, at least half the roster, every year we have 8 new players in the roster.
Yeah.
Plus we never have draft picks, which usually means you're going to have very few assets. We're in really year 1 of rebuilding, so you can't expect us to have much.
Yeah, it's just...
I also have to say, let's just stop the talk of Kevin Durant. Beyond the fact that he'll never come here, Kevin Durant right now has Westbrook, and he's not winning it. Is it going to be better when he gets here?
Who, Kevin Durant?
No, I'm saying, is the team going to have a better team that he has in OKC when he gets here?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, so it's not like we'll get Kevin Durant. We'll still not win. You have to really develop. Even Golden State developed the team. Most teams that won an NBA title have developed the team. We've got to do that. No more shortcuts.
Well, here's the thing. You need 2 to 3 really solid draft picks. Like, Oklahoma City made the finals after they drafted Durant, Westbrook, Ibaka, and Harden.
Yeah.
And the Warriors had Curry, Thompson, and Barnes, and Green.
Yeah.
Like,
we drafted Porzingis. We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I trade. Even with Melo and Porzingis, you need a lot more players.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to pass management? I know, Jay, you're always a defender of the Knicks management. You've always said they really we have the best management in all of basketball.
Oh yeah, they're just great. Haven't made a mistake since 1983.
Clinton writes, last one should. Okay, I'll go in order for him. Clinton writes, Melo for Blake. He does want to be in LA and friends with Paul, and they seem done with Blake. You think they're done with Blake?
I don't know if they're done with Blake, but I think they're close to being done with Blake. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
fair.
once you start punching out staff members, you're definitely on the short list for guys to move.
Forgetting the theory that we can move Blake. Would you do Melo for Blake straight up? I think I asked you this last year. You said no, right?
I know. Yeah, but I've been thinking a lot about this. I mean, Blake is kind of a douche. He does get injured a lot, but he is 6 years younger than Melo.
He's 6 years younger than Melo.
Slightly cheaper contract. Melo is injured a lot anyway.
He plays more efficiently than Melo.
I changed my stance. I would do it. I wouldn't be thrilled about it because I feel like you couldn't play. Blake isn't really Melo could play the 3. I don't know if Blake could play the 3.
I don't know if Melo can play the 3. You've seen Melo guard the 3? He's not exactly really he doesn't stay in front of wings anymore.
My point is, can we just stop getting our 2 best players playing the same position?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I would do it, but I would rather.
Which trade do you like better,
I'd
that
rather
or the
guard.
Cleveland one where we just get a draft pick?
Who's draft pick?
We get the Nets draft pick. Was that the draft pick they were talking about, right? No, that's the draft pick that Frank Isola was talking about, since he's the only one talking about this.
Yeah, but I mean, Melo has. Somebody brought it up in the chat. Melo has no trade clause. His brand is not going to a city like Cleveland.
Well, to win a title with LeBron, he might. I think
he could have done that in the offseason.
Yeah,
before he signed his stupid long contract.
No, he couldn't have just done that in the offseason because the Cavaliers couldn't have just signed him. If they trade Love, they can get him.
He's not doing it.
Okay, well, let's just say
LeBron even said he tried to recruit Melo, and Melo said he's not going to Cleveland.
Whatever. Let's just say he's like, I'm really sick of being on the Knicks. I'll do it. Let's just say he would do it. Which trade would you prefer getting Blake now, or would you prefer getting a draft pick that could turn into a guy that's as good as Blake, or could turn into a guy that's worse?
Right. That's a tough one because this draft isn't supposed to be particularly deep.
Yeah, if you're not getting Ben Simmons, you're not really getting much. I mean, you never know with the draft pick.
Maybe
obviously.
It could be an all-timer or it could be a complete bust.
But Blake is pretty young, and he's already an all-star level player.
On the other hand, I would go with the draft pick because Blake is already making max contract.
I think I would only do this if I understand the idea of having having the guys on rookie contracts. I would only do a draft pick if I'm also getting a guard with that. If I get like Avery Bradley, then it would be worthwhile to me.
Mm-hmm. What if it was like Dellavedova?
Then I just hang up the phone on you. Clint writes, trade Grant to the Bulls for Sneal and a pick.
It's Snell. Tony Snell.
Why did he write Sneal?
I don't know.
I was like, who the hell is... I was trying to figure out who Sneal was. For Tony Snell and pick, then sign Clarkson this offseason for whatever he wants. You can move him to the two guard, start Galloway at the point.
Who for Snell?
Grant.
Grant for Snell?
Yeah. You think the Bulls are doing this?
Grant? No, I don't think they would do that. I would do Grant for Snell, but I don't think the Bulls would.
Yeah, Clarkson also he's restricted, so the Lakers can match anything. I'm not saying they're going to, but and how much Clarkson? I don't know if I really want to give him that huge of a deal if you're trying to like win him away from the Lakers.
Oh no, wait. The question was trade Grant for Snell and a pick.
No, trade Grant for the Bulls for Snell and pick. Sorry,
they're not throwing in a pick. I said the Bulls wouldn't do it without the pick. They're definitely not throwing in a pick.
Either way, and Clarkson, I'd like to get this offseason. I also, even if you move Galloway to the point, I don't know if Galloway is really a starting point guard.
He's not.
Yeah, I think he's a solid guy off the bench. Like, I like him, but I think the team is not in a great position if he's your starting point guard.
No, I think Galloway. Then next year we're going to be like, oh, we have one of the worst starting point guards in the league.
Yeah,
he's a good backup. I like him. He's a good backup. I don't think he's a starting point guard.
I mean, I like getting Clarkson, but Clint also writes, last one. Should Phil quit at the end of the season and go back to L.A. and hopefully take the triangle with him?
No.
By the way, everyone was saying that like Phil was going to opt out at the end of the season, and apparently Phil doesn't have an opt out. He doesn't have an opt out till next year.
Way to overreact, everybody.
I would say, do you think Phil's going to go back to L.A. also?
No, why? Not until his contract's up. Phil doesn't seem like a Larry Brown type of guy where he gets bored after a season.
Yeah, I don't think he's leaving just yet. I do wish he would take the triangle and shove it somewhere, but
yeah.
Or just realize that Tibbs is a great triangle coach. Chris writes, what do you think about Melo's recent comments about wanting to win in New York, and that's why he came back? We should all know that he gets a 15% increase off of his no-trade clause if he goes somewhere else. So he would get more money anywhere else. So I believe his heart is in New York, and we all need another star. You know that, right? There's a 15% kicker into his contract if he gets traded.
Yeah, no, I knew that.
Yeah.
That might be good for his brand, making even more money.
I can't believe the Knicks even gave him all this stuff in his contract.
I know.
No, I think only 5 players in the history of the NBA have gotten no trade clauses.
Right, and he gets a kicker on top of the no trade clause.
I mean, come on.
And it's not even. It's like a 15%. That's pretty significant.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say. Do you think Carmelo wants to be a Knick? Are you convinced?
Well, a Knick that makes max money, yes.
Well, he doesn't want to be a Knick that makes nothing.
Well, he didn't want to be a Knick that makes like $18 million a year either.
Listen, he's making $12 less than he could have this year, Jay. He took sacrifices for the Knicks.
He didn't want to be a Knick without gutting the team and forcing a trade.
Yeah. Well, this year it's not like the money would have been used next year is going to be a bunch of money for you no matter what.
Great.
Though I think Melo should just go to Phil and go, listen, don't tell anyone, but if you could sign a goddamn guard, I'll give you $5 million back. Josh writes, Jimmer Fredette just scored 35 points in the D-League All-Star game, 13 from 19, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, winning the MVP, and also setting a new D-League All-Star record for most points. Why are the Knicks not doing anything with him? It's crazy.
Again, I would rather him over Sasha.
Yeah, I'd rather you, Jay, over Sasha. At least I could root for you. I'd be like, go, Jay, go. Your defense is the same as Sasha's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather Roten over him. I'd rather Torrey Murray, or I'd rather anyone could play defense over. I'm more of a defensive guy, but
Yeah.
at the same time, if they brought up Fournette, I'd be like, yeah, let's see how. I mean, how bad could he be? He can't be any worse than these guys we have already. Dennis writes, and he just gives a link to Bleacher Report's Carmelo Anthony trade rumors, latest news and speculation. And the latest news is, did you see the Bill Simmons quote? The Twitter tweet?
Which one?
It was something I don't have in front of me, but it was something like, "Hey, sorry, I just want to apologize. I hacked into Frank Casola's Twitter account and put up a fake trade. Sorry to drive everyone crazy."
Oh yeah.
That's pretty funny. Melo just said he doesn't pay attention to this stuff, and there's not much of an update here.
Great.
Do you think there's a chance that Phil actually is going to talk to people about trying to move him, or is that there's not even something that Phil's even considering?
No, I think he'll listen to phone calls, but I don't think he's going to make phone calls.
Dennis writes, Jimmer Fredette, D-League All-Star MVP, drops 35 points, new record, exclamation points. Ben writes, what would you rather have on loop for the whole day? The best of Drake or JD and the Straight Shots greatest hits?
You know, I would have taken whatever came next after Drake. Yes, I would listen to JD and the Straight Shot on loop.
And what if JD and the Straight Shot on loop is just Dolan? Like, they don't show anyone else in the band. You just see his mug.
It said listen. It didn't say watch.
Jay, would you take a promotion at work that involves getting paid 10% more, but they said part of the promotion is we're going to play Drake on loop?
No, definitely not.
15% salary bump.
Nope.
20% salary bump.
You have to listen to that stupid "Call Me on Your Cell Phone" song, huh?
Yeah. That's the only song they're going to play. 20% salary bump. Okay, here's this. An extra $50,000 at work, and you just get tattooed visibly, somewhere visible, that I love Drake.
No, definitely not.
Where would somewhere visible be? On your forehead? Andrew writes, how mad is Jay that Bleacher Report made a song about Porzingis to the theme of Drake's Hotline Bling?
As if I didn't hate that site enough already.
YouTube Hotline Sing to play. Could you YouTube Hotline Sing?
No.
Come on. Just do it. Come on.
Hotline Zing?
Yeah.
This is going to really piss me off. I know it is. Good. It's only a minute.
Okay.
So this is Drake with a Porzingis lyric mixed in?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's loading, by the way.
Okay. Ralph writes, what trades are we making? Where we go?
This is a long intro.
You used to boo me on my draft day. Said you wanted Okafor. Boo me on my draft day. Said you wanted Okafor. And not knowing the highlight sing. Porzingis be a thing.
Okay, good.
I love it.
Yeah.
Can we make it the new theme song of the show?
We cannot.
What by the way, Porzingis dropped 30 in the rookie game.
He sure did.
Rookie-sophomore game, whatever it's called. Us versus the World game.
Yep, he's awesome.
He's awesome. What trades are we making? Ralph writes, none.
Oh, we didn't cover all the moves made for right before the draft deadline.
Didn't we cover them all?
Yeah, we just did.
Okay.
Isn't that weird? The draft deadline's in 3 days and there's been 0 moves.
It's getting pretty close to not to have any moves.
I mean, we mentioned this like 4 days ago, and then you're like, "Oh, there's still a week." Now there's 3 days and there's still 0 moves.
I feel like Dwight Howard wants to be traded, which is goddamn hilarious.
He came out and said he did.
Well, he didn't say that. They just said that's the rumor that he met with management. And now they're trying to trade him.
If
right?
we end up with Dwight, I'm done.
My bet is Dwight Howard goes to the Hawks, and the Hawks give back Teague and Horford or something like that.
I want to see him go to Cleveland, have them give up a big piece, and then have Howard just destroy their chemistry.
That would be amazing.
That would be best case scenario.
I don't know. If JR can't destroy their chemistry, no one can.
I don't know. JR and Howard on the same team?
That would be amazing. How much does Stan Van Gundy love it? Everything that doesn't work out for Dwight Howard, he must just think this is amazing.
He should passive-aggressively retweet every Howard trade rumor.
It should be like whatever the quotation thing on the however you retweet, like you should retweet Dwight Howard unhappy in Houston, and then like ... I'm touching myself. Yeah, I can't see anything. Maybe at best we see like Seraphin or like O'Quinn moved and for like a bit piece.
Yeah, I feel like Seraphin for a bit piece is what we're gonna get.
Maybe a second round pick.
ESPN has trades we'd like to see, but it's paid content.
Oh, well, whatever. Austin writes. Francisco writes. Tibbs or Phil? If it comes down to Tibbs or Phil, I'm going with Phil. I'm going with Tibbs.
I'm going with Tibbs too. Phil physically can't make all the games.
If Phil wants the triangle so bad, coach the goddamn team.
Although I don't get why Phil just doesn't watch a live stream and have a headset and then just tell somebody else what to do.
Yeah, I don't know why he can't like be involved.
Even if he wants to coach, just get one of those like
Should you have like a robot that just like kind of repeats everything? Like, get your head into the game.
Well, why can't he just have one of those glasses, like those video camera glasses, put it on Rambus, have Rambus watch the game, and have a headset and just tell him what to do?
Derek Fisher, you're not fired. You just have to wear this headset and repeat everything I say going forward.
Exactly. If you say one word to any player that doesn't come out of my mouth, you're fired.
Yeah. Then Austin said thoughts, LOL, and this is the Tim Hardaway thing, which is pretty. And then Adam did the same thing, said Tim Hardaway report said NBA player and former coach potentially dated same woman. Tim Hardaway Jr. had to go on record to discuss whether he and Derek Fisher were involved in the same woman. Brian Windhorst said on a podcast, Fisher was fired as a New York Knicks coach. Oh my God, this is getting better and better each day. It really is getting better and better each day.
It is.
We had a couple messages. I wanted to make sure we read them.
We also had Dane wrote regarding last week's episode. We were saying, why did people hate Zach Randolph? Because he put up like great numbers against the Knicks.
Oh, that's yeah.
He basically said the Knicks put in him and Curry, and they didn't really defend very much. They also played on the same block, and that was why they traded him. They picked Curry over Randolph, which is unbelievably stupid. Also, like if they both like going on the same block, shouldn't the coach just be like, one of you guys go on a different block?
I just hope going forward, like that's idiotic. Like going forward, I'd like to just see the Knicks when they dribble the ball up, not to have four guys posting up at all times.
Yeah,
be nice.
So you pulled up the messages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dustin wrote. Is this from the date? Did you send two messages or one message? Oh, no. Okay. Here's a message from him. Hey, guys, thoughts about the trade talks, Cleveland, Boston, and Knicks? Do you think Melo says yes just to get his ring? Thoughts on Scott Brooks as head coach? He wasn't brought up last week. As always, you guys rock and keep up the good work. So what do you think about Scott Brooks?
I didn't hear great things about him when he was in Oklahoma City. I think his success was more of the roster. I didn't hear anybody saying he was doing a particularly good job, though.
Yeah, I don't. There's nothing about his job he was doing there that makes me think that he was so great.
Yeah.
He had a freaking great roster.
Yeah, I would say I'm okay with them not getting him.
What do you think about Blatt?
Yeah, I would take Blatt.
What you should do this week? You should do the Knicks future coach power rankings.
That wouldn't be bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Ralph asked us if we can write to call Bamboo Bistro again, which we've called like 3 times already.
Apparently, he really likes us pranking Bamboo Bistro.
I don't know what the deal with Bamboo Bistro is. Sorry, Ralph. I think we're not going to do prank calls this week. Is that pretty much it, Jay?
That is it. So we are at NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter. We are nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is our email. If you want to leave a voicemail, 631-676-1181. The NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com is the website.
Buy a T-shirt, because I think Jay still has some.
We have Knicks Podcast shirts available on the website. A couple different colors. They're a high quality. They look good. So
they're made out of silk from
a place that's really hard to get silk from.
Yeah.
Rare stuff.
It's actually like once you buy it, it's worth like 20 times the price you paid for it.
Quintuples in value as soon as it leaves my shelf.
Yeah. Rockets and the Heat are discussing a trade Howard for Whiteside. Do you think that makes a lot of sense for the Heat? Like, how much better does Dwight Howard make them over Whiteside?
Depends if you think this is like your last opportunity to win, because Whiteside is still a complete head case, and he's not going to get you there this year. So if you think Howard's going to put you over the top this year, maybe it makes sense. Also, if you think Whiteside's going to ask for way too much money, and he's a knucklehead and you don't want to pay him, maybe you get something for him now.
I mean, the numbers he's putting up are pretty decent, though. He blocks a lot of shots. He gets 12 points a game.
He also gets ejected like every third game.
He's a bit of a head case. I'm just wondering how much better Howard really makes you. I remember back in the day, Howard made you one of the best teams in the NBA. I don't know what the hell happened to him.
Well, I mean, if you look at his numbers, he peaked 5 years ago. So that's not a good sign. Literally.
Shumpert made available in trade talks by Cavs. Magic Williams, I'm just reading off a real GM right now. Magic Williams discussed trade of Oladipo, Tobias Harris. Did they just re-sign Tobias Harris just now?
Basically, everyone who got or re-signed somebody in the offseason is mad. Like, the Bucks apparently are unhappy with Greg Monroe.
Yeah. They were talking on the radio also. Someone was going off and saying the Knicks, the Knicks, Monroe chose the Bucks over the Knicks. This is where the Knicks have come to these days. And I'm like, well, that was a good one, actually, because we don't want Monroe here.
Right.
What did we learn today?
We learned that we could still do an hour-and-a-half show, even though the Knicks haven't had a game in about 10 days.
Oh, there's another one. Did you hear the report? Clippers offer Griffin to Nuggets for Gallinari, Fareed, and Barton and Jokic.
That seems like a lot to give up for Griffin.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go through this. Oh, it was Blake Griffin and Lance Stevenson.
Well, if Lance Stevenson's in there, well,
let's see what you're getting here. Gallinari, pretty good player, always injured.
Been having a great season though.
Having a good year. Fareed, I don't really want him on the Knicks. Can't play any defense.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's kind of everyone's fizzled on Fareed being that great of a player, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Will Barton, pretty good.
Yeah, he's like a 6th man of the year candidate.
Yeah. Well, weren't the Knicks wasn't that something about how the Knicks just get him? There was like the trade things where they were like here's all the reasons he fit into the Knicks, and the Denver would give him up just because that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And Jokic, is Jokic that great?
He's their starting center, putting up decent numbers.
I feel like this is not like an insane trade.
I feel like they're giving up 3 starters for 1 starter.
I think Denver should have to give up their whole roster for a player. It's only fair.
All right. Well, we're doing our next episode on next Monday. So you could follow us on Ustream. ustream.tv/channel/Knicks-podcast. If you hit the follow button there, you get an email when we go live. We are supposed to be having John Henson from Wipeout on next week.
That's exciting.
That's a big guest. And before next episode, we will have a Brooklyn and Minnesota game. I would say 2 wins.
They have to have 2 wins.
They have to.
I mean...
Okay. Anyway.
Okay. What did we learn today?
We learned that we gave bad grades for the mid-season.
Of course we gave bad grades. The team... Do you remember the team was 22-22 before their 1-9 stretch?
Yeah.
I mean, what a goddamn... I'd be pretty happy if the team and it was 500, but now it looks like the season's just like a disaster.
Yeah.
The team's not going to go 9-1 over the next 10 games, so.
No, I don't think they will.
But they should go 2-0 this week. And that's a pretty big, that'd be pretty big.
We learned that Drake is everywhere, and I'm not happy about it.
Would you rather have Sasha or Drake play for the Knicks?
Sasha.
At least Drake would do, like no coach in their right mind would actually put him on the court.
That's true. Then we'd have to look at his stupid face on the bench every
At
game.
least I don't have to look at Sasha's face on the court.
You know they'd have like Drake Cam or some crap like that.
What's your power rankings of Knicks players that make you angry when they're on the court? I think number 1 for me is Sasha. 2 is Admonson. 3 is Seraphin. 4 is O'Quinn. I'm not that angry. I just don't like O'Quinn or Seraphin anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, honeymoon's definitely over.
Okay.
All right, so that's it. We'll be back next week. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks, everyone who joined the chat. And we'll be back next Monday at 8:30 p.m.
Yeah. We'll go back to our Sunday schedule soon enough.
Yes, starting in March, we'll be back to our Sunday schedule.
Yes.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Everybody. Napa Know How.
A Napa guy knows more isn't always better, unless we're talking about full-size vans. These beasts do more than get you from A to B. They have so much space a man can live in it. With shag carpeting, waterbed, and a sweet lava lamp, these mobile abodes have all the comforts of home. With quality parts and plenty of Napa know-how, you can keep the original tiny house running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how.
Napa Know How.
I've switched a lot of things in my life, but it's never worked out. I switched to being a vegetarian, but ate more bacon than ever. Every time I switch lines at the grocery store, I never pick the fast one. But one thing that totally worked out is I switched to Metro PCS and got a free Samsung Galaxy.
Make the right switch too. Move to Metro PCS and get a free Samsung Galaxy J7 with a huge 5.5-inch screen. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Plus sales tax. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details, terms, and conditions.